The Up to Us campaign.
Kwajo,
Yes, sir.
may I rebut what my brother?
There is a rebuttal. Hey,
it is. If he wants to start on this note, things will be hot here.
Okay, we don't want.
You have put out a list, and I'm saying that it's not the NDC's legal team.
Okay.
It doesn't mean we don't have a team.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification.
Let us.
Can we get back to message so we don't get things too heated? We want to talk about the Up to Us campaign. This happened earlier this year. Lots of people came together and gave generously to help alleviate the situation in the north. And we've just heard a report from the Upper East region, where our correspondent had been speaking to the people of Pwalugu. Now, there's going to be a dam there. This is touted as the long-term solution to the perennial flooding problem. $1 billion dam. And maybe later in the year we can talk about how it'll be funded and so forth. But right now, I think the story is the relief that has gone to the people who were worst affected by the flooding. And I wonder, maybe I'll start with Rhoda and go round, for quick reactions to how things went. Actually, before that, I believe we have Albert Sorry on the line, right? Albert, can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
There you are. Thank you so much for your time with us. And you've done a stellar job, keeping track of how everything went before, during, and after the flooding. And of course, now that the relief has reached them. Tell us, what impact has it made on these communities?
Yes, so as you heard those community members, it was just exciting for them. Remember, they had been informed this relief was coming. Somehow the truck that was carrying the relief delayed, so they waited there for some time before the truck arrived there. So when we got there, they were, anxiously waiting. These women who had come with their children had been waiting there, and the men too were there waiting. So you could tell that this was something that they were expecting, and they were anxiously waiting for it. So when they received the items, they were excited. As you heard some of them speak to us, a lot of them were just happily carrying these things. So we have the pictures, which later, our followers can see. But you could tell that they were happy to receive these things, and the happiness they were expressing was just, very heartwarming to see.
Now, what is the current state of those who were displaced? People lost their homes, schools were flooded, communities just, destroyed. Where are these people now? Obviously, the relief items are not going to restore them to their, original positions. But where are they now? What state are they living in today?
Yes, in the case of Pwalugu, when we got there, they said that their homes were on the higher land, so their homes were not affected by the floods. It was their farms, which were around the White Volta Lake, that were submerged by the farms, and they lost everything. So for their homes are intact. They are living their lives. The challenge is that it's going to be a difficult year for them because of the fact that they did not get any harvest at all, and they will have to struggle basically to go through life. So except for donations like this that come to them, and other people who may want to help them with food and all of that, they are just going to have to manage, from aid and giveaways that family members will hand over to them for the rest of the year until the farming season starts again.
Did they get any help from the state?
Well, we understand that NADMO did some distribution in most of the areas, but like it happens every year. Mostly what NADMO gives is not enough to go around. It's not enough to satisfy everybody. I remember the Gridco, who are working with the constructors of the Pwalugu multipurpose dam, brought some donation which they handed over to NADMO to be distributed. But that was for the entire region, not just for the people in Kwalugu alone. So yes, some donations were given by the state, but like it happens frequently, this is not usually enough for everyone. So that is the situation.
Now, at the time of the flooding, when I came over to your region, we went to visit the site of the Pwalugu Dam. Work had stalled there for several months, but we were told by government that the work had stopped because of the flooding. Has work resumed?
Well, because we moved straight into election issues right from that day, I haven't been able to cross-check. I mean, you remember how far the place was from community.
Yes, a very, very long route.
I haven't been able to go back there. This is something that we will have to check and update. But the expectation was that when the floods recede, they would resume work. But because we've been reporting on the election issues, I haven't been able to get back there to check. So subsequently, we will have to do that update.
Thank you. And I know you'll keep an eye on that for us. Just before you leave us, I know that on a personal level, when I spoke to these farmers one-on-one, they told me about how emasculating it is to lose everything that they've worked for, their entire year's harvest. Some of them talked about how, they couldn't show their faces in their own homes because they didn't know how they would feed their families. Now that the Up to Us campaign, with the help of so many Ghanaians, have been able to come up with a little something to help. Has that made a difference to their living situations?
Yes, especially because the donation was done just before Christmas. So, I mean, a lot of them received rice and other food items, which was going to help them from what they told us. But it was just something that cannot last them throughout the year. So it has made some impact, but it is going to take some more for all these families to be able to survive the year. And you could tell that even for those who received the clothes, it was something very, very, very interesting for them because, you can tell. I mean, if somebody has lost the farm, it means there's no harvest, which means there is nothing to sell. It all translates into how their lives will be impacted generally because they won't have money for food and clothing and shelter and all of that. So it made some difference. But like I said, these are people who have children, who have wives to feed. So it's going to take a lot more to see them throughout the year.
Indeed. Albert, I want to thank you for your work on this, and I know you'll keep an eye on things for us and keep us updated.
Yes, Lord.
Right, so Rhoda, a big initiative that hopefully has alleviated the struggles of a few of our fellow Ghanaians, right?
Yeah, definitely. Kudos to your team. I think you've done very well by coordinating this. There are a lot of people in our society who are in various situations of vulnerabilities. Many have not been reached. Today you have put the focus on these communities, but there are other categories of people in vulnerable circumstances who really need help. There are people who are willing to give, private citizens who are willing to donate, who are willing to contribute or support. But sometimes it's just the mechanism to do that is not available. So I want to be able to say, provide clothing, or my used clothing, or some at least some resources, whether it's financial or any other form, to somebody who may need it. But who do I give it to? Sometimes it's not as easy as it may appear. And to have you coordinate something of this, I think is very, very commendable. It must continue. I would go on to recommend that if it's even possible for you to have a long-running campaign of this nature where constantly you are trying to mobilize resources from private citizens, and then to be able to identify people in certain vulnerable situations who may need this kind of support, I think it will go a long way. We need to be each other's keeper. There's a role that government must play, but definitely there's a lot more that all of us can also do to help mitigate the circumstances of certain people.
Yeah, I mean, this happened across 4 regions: the Northeast, the Upper East, the Northern and Savannah regions. And in each community, in each region, hundreds of communities. Some of them washed away completely by this flooding. It was, I mean, I'm not exaggerating, it was a humanitarian crisis. And, on a normal day, even when the sun is shining and everybody's smiling, we live in a state that cannot really take full care of every Ghanaian. The national cake can never be shared to everybody's satisfaction. So when things like this happen, creating such a huge deficit, I mean, do you see, Mr. Kwebu, that the state, did all it could, and could we have perhaps even prevented some of these losses?
Yeah. So in terms of what the state could have done, I mean, extra beyond what they're doing, there's always room for improvement. At least that's why it's a constant in our national discourse that anytime there's a disaster, when we do post-disaster audit or some discussions, we always see that there's room for improvement. So I'm thinking that one of the ways to permanently help these people is to enroll as many of the victims onto the LEAP program, the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty, blah, blah, that program. I think it would help, because they monthly basis, some stipends are given to some of our citizens who are below the poverty line. So I would actively pray the government to enroll a lot of these victims onto the LEAP program, until such a time that they can get back on their feet, and then they can be taken off. Yes, and then also we want to see that hopefully work should be expedited on the dam. Yeah. Is it costing about 100 million or what? Was it 900 million? Yeah, it's such a big project.
Yeah, $1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. $1 billion. Yeah.
Yes, $1 billion. So we hope that the work will be done expeditiously, so that we see an end to this annual floods. In actual fact, when the dam project was initiated, I was like, so we could have built this and we sat down all these decades and lost so much. Because if you look at what we've lost over the years, if we had built this dam long ago, I'm sure we would have more than recovered the investment. So at this juncture, well, they say better late than never, right? Yeah. So let's encourage government to expedite progress on the dam, and then we take it from there.
Mr. Hajide, I know that you visited us during the time we were running this campaign, and you very generously gave, a donation to help the people who were in distress, and we thank you so much for that. I wonder what your take is on, how people came together, institutions, individuals came together to help, their brothers and sisters who are in distress. Well, what does that say about the character of the Ghanaian?
Yeah, first and foremost, the management and staff of Joy FM Multimedia, your good selves, must be commended. And then the people of Ghana who supported you must also be commended. You have done a yeoman's job coming behind government. We do know that in disasters of this nature, the government agency, the NADMO, by itself, is mostly unable to reach everybody with the kind of support that is needed. But you came in and it's been very good, so you have to be commended. Because Joe, I think that, and I made the point about when I visited during the disaster, I made the point, and I still want to make that point, that I believe that we should hold the National Democratic Congress government responsible for the loss of lives and the loss of property that have bedeviled the good people of not just the Upper East, but even the Northern region, because of the spillage of the Bagri Dam, which now leads to the flooding within the Pwalugu, the Upper East and the Northern and East contiguous areas. I say this because, Kojo, you know that before His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor's administration came to an end in 2008, we had secured a $500 million loan facility for the construction of this facility at Pwalugu. And Juali, there's another community also known as Juali. $500 million was inherited by our colleagues in the National Democratic Congress administration. They have not been able to advise this country on what that money was diverted into. And so, Mr. Martin Kpebu is right that we could have done this long ago and saved precious Ghanaian lives and property. But this was not, and that's why
our checks tell us that the money was diverted into road construction.
I'm greatly saddened. I'm greatly saddened by these developments. This loan was secured for this particular purpose, and the sheer importance of the construction of the Pwalugu Dam could not have been lost on any administration. When the Bagri is spilled, we know the devastating effects on us here. And so we are talking today about loss of lives and loss of property, which moved you, touched your conscience as a corporate organization to move in to mobilize the people to support. So if you in corporate world, you can be as conscientious as you have been, and you exhibited these levels of humanity and moved to help people at the point of their need, I'm at a loss as to why the people's government will divert the funds meant for the construction of the Pwalugu Dam into something else. I'm greatly saddened about that development.
I have to ask you this because you've, kind of brought up the this sort of blaming the NDC for it. So I have to ask you this. Does your government also take its share of the blame for not being able to prevent something that was completely foreseeable? I mean, it wasn't a mystery that it was raining heavily across West Africa. It wasn't a mystery that the dam will be spilled. These things happen every year. In fact, sometimes twice a year. None of this happened by surprise. Burkina Faso informed us. We have a group that manages that process, so we knew it was happening. Yet we sat and watched, and people died. Does your government also take its share of the blame for this? Since
the only sustainable solution to the problem was the construction of the Pwalugu Dam.
But it's not true that nothing could have been done to help these people. It's not true.
Nothing. I'm telling you, that's the only. I've read documentation. The only sustainable solution to the problem
there could have been no.
There have been warnings. I've been involved at the Ministry of Information.
Location. None of that could have happened.
At the Ministry of Information, we have been involved in warning, public education, even relocations. But I'm saying to you that, Kojo, if you look at the government of the problem, the only sustainable solution was the construction of the dam. That is the only way out. And that's what we should have done several years ago. And that's why loans were secured. Sad that the monies were diverted. The relocations were not going to resolve the problem. The public education, well and good. But the only sustainable solution was the construction of that dam. And that's why I'm happy that it is taking another NPP administration. And if you check, many of the really and truly unprecedented developments up north, just as across this country, are projects that are initiated by the party that I belong to. And I'm very, very, very proud about that.
Where's the money coming from? The 1 billion. Where's it coming from?
It's from the Sino Hydro.
It's from the Sino Hydro?
Yeah.
Right. Because
and that's why the contractors who are working on the Sino Hydro, all of it may not be Sino Hydro. I can check and get back to you. I make the comment because I know that the contractors involved in Pwalugu are also involved in the construction of the overhead.
Yes, it's the same contractors, but I don't know that the money is from.
Well, I can
Sino
check and I'll revert.
I would appreciate that, so that we can be confident that it's a sustainable source and it will be completed. The project will be complete because we've seen it before, haven't we? Mr. Dafiamako, I'll take your comments really quickly on this so we can move on to our other issues.
Kwadwo?
Yes, sir.
Let me use the opportunity to extend my sympathies to our brothers in the north. A force majeure is a force majeure. It may be a spillage, but once it's a spillage and the river is flowing through its channel and overfloods its banks, it's a natural thing. There's nothing you can do. That is why if you saw the nature of the flooding, even roads between Trimpani and Garu and all that, they were cut off. Even bridges couldn't contain it. And it's important that as a media house, you, as part of your corporate social responsibility interventions, you did this. Indeed, sometime in August, in my own constituency, there were some 2 or 3 rainstorms in quick succession that demolished houses in my constituency, and some traders who had traveled from the front plains came to Germany. That's how they do it, and we're going back on the lake. It got storm tossed. The boats capsized. We lost a number of people. So I have had to also do some interventions there. Roofing shades, cement for people to rebuild their houses, providing life jackets for the boat owners so they can help people during disaster. When there's disaster and we are dealing with the consequences of the disaster, we shouldn't be making propaganda. My brother shouldn't have gone the tangent he went. He talks about the sustainable solution to the problem. Their term as a government has come to an end. What has it done? The government hasn't got 8 years. It hasn't got 10 years. You've been given 4 years. What did you do about it? You are talking of securing a loan.
But is he wrong, though?
No, hold on. He sits here and says that the NDC should be blamed. How do you speak like that? And then you put this thing out there and leave it hanging. When you are in executive, you are exercising executive power of state. And then you say that somebody who is no longer in authority should be blamed. And before the NDC, there was an MPP. So when there are problems and there are interventions, yes, before the 8 years, there was an 8 years. You don't want to speak about that. So when there are issues and we want to deal with the issue dispassionately, let us do it. Don't be making these foot soldier arguments on matters like this. It's not good. But I want to commend Multimedia for doing this. I thank you.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
Just one quick objection. I think that my honourable member's comments cannot be described as foot soldiers' comment, even though I may feel it's quite irrelevant to the conversation. But I think it's unfair to use such verbiage around this.
I withdraw.
Right.
Correct.
Thank you for that.
But the gravamen of the point I'm making is that a loan was secured for a specific project, and that was diverted, and that's what I'm holding you responsible for. So that's the point I'm making.
Kwadwo, securing a loan is secured for a purpose. So if you sit here and say that a loan was secured and it was diverted, how is that possible?
Well, we know that.
Hold on.
We know that 500 million.
Hold on, Kwadwo.
Yes.
What I know is that when you secure a loan, it is tied to a purpose. If the country goes back to change the purpose, that is for the country to decide. So don't tell me that a loan was secured for a purpose and it was diverted, as if it wasn't done out of procedure. I've sat in Parliament. You've secured a loan and diverted it to do other things. You came to change the purpose. I don't blame you for doing that because you are exercising executive power of state.
So you're saying you did it legally?
I guess. In fact, I'm not even aware the source. I'm not even. Exactly that's what you are doing. What haven't you done?
All right. We need to move.
You have just pitched us against the entire people from the northern region.
Not because of criminality, but because of immorality. That's morality.
Okay.
You want to impute immoral motives to this.
So we need to move on. I don't know what's immoral.
I don't even know where that loan comes from. They're asking you where you got it.
Could you don't belittle this? If it was not moral, you would not, as a corporate organization, move to do what you have done. And so your contribution must be highlighted by
I
exposing the
think-
immorality
so
of a government that
Kojo,
will
I want to
important.
ask I want to ask Ajide one thing. A project that will cost 500 million in 2008 now costs $1 billion. Is that what you are saying? Why is it that you are not using 500 million now?
I can respond if he allows me.
Why?
So in
How,
fact,
what happened and the price doubled?
I am going to let Mr. Hajide respond to that quickly because I know there are many listeners who would like to
There
hear
are scope to every project.
the answer to that. So from 500 million to 1 billion, what caused
May
the
I
leap?
respond?
Yes, of course.
I'm surprised my brother is even bringing this point, because we know that projects have always been fashioned into phases in this country, and that you can secure a 500 million for a project. It could be phase 1, and then as the project continues, you look for additional funding.
Was that the case?
So-
phase
was
one,
that the
when
case?
you mentioned 500 million,
I made
I
a-
better-
a
Mr.
fact- I
Dafen,
made-
if you don't mind, if you
if you
can
don't
permit
mind,
me to
I'm just
to moderate.
making a fact.
Was that the case
I'm saying that
in this,
He's
in
now
this,
breaking
with this
into
project?
phases.
But I'm
What
saying
was the
don't-
phase that the 500 million
Mr.
was
Dafe
reserved
Amako,
for?
if you permit, please.
Living, as we speak now,
Yeah.
we haven't exhausted 1 billion on Pualugu. Again, the scope of Pualugu may have changed. I know that Pualugu now is both a dam and also an irrigation facility. So the scope has changed.
Yes.
A lot more work is now being done in
That's
Pualugu.
not different from what it was
no, it
in its original iteration.
It is.
It was a multi-purpose dam to
I
begin
agree,
with.
but I'm saying
It still
it's-
is.
No, Kojo, there's a world of difference between the Pualugu Dam that Kufuor
Right.
secured the $500 million for. And we are talking about some 12 years ago, in 2008, was when this loan was secured. But I'm surprised that we cannot even fundamentally agree as Ghanaians, not as MPP NDC, that something as important as the construction of the Pualugu Dam to save lives and property, something that can move a corporate organization like Joy FM to ask people to contribute monies so that human beings can be protected. You see,
take out the
so
MPP?
Right.
I'm saying that.
Did you do
but
that?
I'm saying that we cannot agree that.
you started by
please.
attacking the NDC.
But I'm saying that we can agree that that is wrong. But if so, what if the NDC does something that is wrong?
Okay. All right, gentlemen.
What I'm saying is that
we're going to have to move on.
Kojo,
We're going to have to move on.
Kojo,
But before we do
what I
that-
said is wrong is that I'm saying that as a people, when we gather like this, irrespective of which political parties we come from, there are some obvious truths that we can admit to, that this one, even though I belong in that party, it was not done right. That is progressive in my view. So if I belong in NPP and something may have gone wrong, we can agree that, okay, this one we could have done it better. I don't see what my brother Roxin is being defensive
I'm
about.
going to have to say that we will leave the debate about the morality of roads versus dams to another day. Today, though, we will clarify one fact. I was asking about the source of funding. I don't think it's Sino Hydro, but we will double check. One thing I have checked, though, is that in the 2020 budget for the construction of dam to hold spillage from Bagre Dam, the government dedicated $75 million. That's 75 million for the year 2020. Now, the plan was to build this thing in 4 years. For the first year, 75 million for a $1 billion project. So we can track this, find out what the source of the funding is. I believe looking at this particular page from the this is a screenshot from the page. I'll have to go and look at the full page and then be able to determine the source of the funding. But 75 million was allocated for the year 2020. We need to move on. We've got a lot to talk about. Before the break, we were discussing press freedom. Now, I want us to wrap up on that very quickly because it has become an important issue. And I received a text message from Ken Ashigbe I want to share, and that can be the basis for the continuation of our conversation. So, Mr. Ken Ashigbe, of course, we know is the CEO of the Chamber of Telecommunications. This is what he sent me. He said, "Good job, Kojo and Joy FM, for keeping this issue on the front burner. We should put pressure on the state to act and deal with the perpetrators of these dastardly acts. We need answers to all of these attacks and prosecution of these villains. But for those who call journalists names for doing their work, We should be worried. But that should not deter us from doing our work. We need to keep the pressure on and involve all groups in the fight for our freedom. Hashtag journalism is not a crime. Mr. Kwebu.
Very apt. Very apt. It's good you've come back to read this way because, I mean, we can't just, overemphasize the fact that we must do everything within our power to create safe spaces for journalists to operate without any fear or favor. Because our democracy so far has been built on a free press. Okay? Yes. If you look back in our history, you see cases, Kweku Baako and co. People suffered, but because society largely stood behind a free press as guaranteed by the Constitution, we made progress. So we are not about to relinquish that principle of a free press to some misguided elements in our society. Yes, as I stated earlier, it's true that in every society you have people who are of such a mind. Yes, if you compare to other societies, you find that these things come up. But where we would be making a mistake is for us to say, oh, it's normal for some people to behave in such a manner in every society. Yes, it's normal for some people to behave that way. But then, if we don't stand up and stem it, then the numbers of these fringe elements will increase. So that is where it is. So that once you see that some people are behaving this way, we must do everything within our power to stand up against it. Yes, let's not. And I like the example Senyo gave yesterday about the mouse trap that a farmer bought a...
That was me, actually, yeah.
Okay, it was you, right? Yeah, so let's repeat it. That there was a farmer bought a mouse trap, right? And then the animals thought it was only meant to trap the mouse. Unfortunately, it trapped this snake first. And then the farmer had to kill the chicken, the fowl first in order to prepare soup for his wife. It didn't get better. The wife died, and then they had to kill the cow, and so on and so forth. So it goes with or it signifies that, look, whatever happens to your neighbor may well affect you. We have other popular saying that when your neighbor's beard is on fire, you find water for yours, right? You could go on and on and on. So let's just make sure that every day we will stand up against these misguided elements. Yes, we know they are bound to come up, but we also are bound to stand up against them. And of course, I want to bring in the constitutional provision here so that we reflect on saying, the point is that you guys as media, you don't have an option because the Constitution says that you shall uphold the accountability, you see, of the government. It's not an option. It's in Article 162. 162 Clause 5. And I'll read. It says, all agencies of the mass media shall, at all times, be free to uphold the principles, provisions, and objectives of this Constitution, and shall uphold the responsibility and accountability of the government to the people of Ghana. I'm sure you know the normal rule that when you find the word shall, it's imperative. So as long as you operate in the media space, even at the peril of your life, the Constitution says that you shall uphold the responsibility and accountability of the government to the people. And so we would continue to urge you as a media to continue, and we as citizens would also give you all the support that you require. And part of that support is coming into studio here to participate in your programs. And that we've always done.
And for that, we thank you. I want to hear from everybody on this, but just before we do that, we're going to take a very quick break. Now, I said I needed to see that full sheet so I can tell you the actual source of funding. The source of funding is Government of Ghana. Okay. It's not Sino-Hydro. It's Government of Ghana. And that 75 million is cedis, not dollars. 75 million Ghana cedis. That is what was allocated to the project
that would be slow
this year.
At that rate, that would be extremely. If the project is $900 million and we start off with 75 million
cedis,
that's less than $20 million.
My understanding is that the election year budgets are just 3 months budgets, and that they are reviewed subsequently.
Perfect.
Right.
So,
very well. Thank you for that. So we will certainly be learning more about the funding of this project. We've got a few messages from our partners. When we come back, we'll hear from the rest of our panelists on this and other issues, including the sacking of MMDCs because they campaigned against NPP candidates.
It's a new day. I want you to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together. Forward together. Cowbank, forward together.
By 10 a.m., 5 million Ghanaians have you heard at least twice in the trotro, in the queue for Hajia's watching, and at the cocoa joint around the corner.
So, have you heard that Airtel Tigo calls are free for 6 months?
6 months?
Yes, you heard right. 6 months of free morning calls when you buy an Airtel Tigo SIM and make a simple transaction on Airtel Tigo Money. Share the news because Hong Kong no get leg. Get an Airtel Tigo SIM today.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Promotion, promotion, promotion! The Millennium Insurance freebie season is here again. Renew your existing motor insurance or buy insurance from Millennium and get various cool items. Rush now! Offer remains while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply. Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
This Bronya dear, we're going to make every moment special. Whether it's
I see you, Kipo.
There's more than enough drama series to bond over. There is something to keep you.
What are we doing today, man?
Endlessly entertained. You won't miss the action between.
Nobody will be better. Ronaldo or Messi.
We're not going to rescue you from Auntie's questions. So
you said when you did marry now.
That will give you ideas. Choose DSTV this holiday season and make it your moment for only 45 Ghana cedis per month. DSTV, it's your moment.
Misika enso katia roba. Anonso enso estate 9. Now so empare me. Temetwa tea, nemetwa ni zuo. Me twati ya me twa me sochi. I do cream so be dwa die. Amana easy cra. 3 cedi pe. 3 cedi so die kwa me. It will be se me share I do cream gumi tea ana me kokomu a. Jai. Yeah! I take down crown father.
Book store. Hwehwe ideal creamy for fry the light blue asensen wa e sochi. Ede na ne bo so da fem. FD ahwehwe sa etwatien krato yi mu agya to say.
Jack, if nobody will give you anything this Christmas, Samsung dare your back. Hey, deal penny. Every Samsung shop you enter, whether you are in the north or in the south, we are giving you free gifts with every Samsung device you buy. Gina Hoji and Kasa. Buy any Samsung mobile phone. That one alone be too much flex. Then in addition, you will get gifts ranging from free screen repair vouchers, wireless chargers, battery packs, phone covers, screen protectors, t-shirts, and many more. Papa bring yourself the trust. Come on, it's like Samsung they sponsored the bringer this year. You know they see, like you know slack cry. Terms and conditions apply.
2020 has been quite a year, hasn't it? Let's end it on a high. Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, presents the Roverman Festival of Plays with 5 spectacular Ebo-White plays at the National Theatre. 25th December, Unhappy Wives, Confused Husbands.
Okay, Mom, I want to marry. Show me a store where I can buy one. No, 2 husbands because I think I can afford to maintain 2.
27th December, Sex Scandal.
I will catch you. I will fry you and chop you and share you like tomato.
1st January, Women on Fire.
Just when they were about to close the coffin, they left me alone in the room to say goodbye. You know what I said to him? Bomo, look at his stupid face. Tomorrow to come and chase the girls.
2nd January, Terms of Divorce.
This is exactly what you did in our marriage. marriage ended, just as your father did to your mother and your uncles are doing to their wives.
How dare you?
Sue me.
3rd January, bananas and groundnuts.
Last year on my birthday, you took me to a shop, pulled out a card, and asked me if I liked it. And then you said, "This is what I want to say to you on your birthday. Now put the card back and let's go."
Rates 80 Ghana cedis for individual shows, 300 Ghana cedis for all 5 shows. Tickets available now at
Joy FM, Airport Shell, Patrona and Hydro Total, and all usual outlets. For deliveries,
WhatsApp us on 050-554-6030 for inquiries. Sponsors: Toyota Ghana Limited, Total Family Health Organization, Dolphin Financial Services, and Cheesy Pizza, Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
The season of celebration is upon us. Stay safe while linking up with family and friends by following the COVID-19 safety protocols. Remember to mask up, wash your hands, and observe social distancing. Let's celebrate responsibly this festive season.
The maritime sector is important to the growth of the economy. At the Ghana Shippers Authority, our aim is to ensure that we provide the best of service and support to importers and exporters all across the country by organizing seminars on new policies, how to avoid demurrage, resolving complaints at entry borders, negotiating port charges, and promoting the transit trade. So whether you are importing or exporting, we are ready to assist you at no cost. Visit us at Ghana Shippers Houses, Rage Accra, GPHA Towers, Tema, NCA Building behind Fort Gardens, Kumasi, Takrady Shippers Center, Takrady, and Yamusa Building, Kumbihini, Tamale. We also have complaints units at the Elubu, Paga, Aflao Borders, and the Kotoka International Airport, and Takotel, Takrady. Call us on 0302 666 915 or toll free on 0800 300 55 or visit our website www.shippers.org.gh. Ghana Shippers Authority, providing shipping solutions.
It's learning time! To all moms and dads out there, the Ghana Learning Radio Reading Program is expanding and adding Ghanaian languages to the English lessons so your child can boost their learning. Your favorite primary school teachers in Asante Twi, Ekwapin Twi, Dagari, Dabani, Dangwe, Eve, Fanti, Gan, Gonja, Kasim, and Nzema will take you and your child from KG2 to B4 through 2 sessions of exciting, interactive, and easy to follow Ghanaian language radio lessons that contain stories, games, riddles, and humorous characters. Tune in to all GBC regional and affiliated radio stations near you to enjoy this new way of learning via radio while staying safe during this COVID period. Ghana Learning Radio. Learn to read, read to learn. This message is brought to you by the MOE, GES, GBC, and supported by USAID.
Repeat on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays between 4 to 5 p.m.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
So if you wonder how I do my thing, it be my God. No money, how me here while it be my God. So when you see me rolling on your block, it be my God. Like a sickly woman, coco, in my God. I never they wonder, never worry. My baba, they my body. I never they holler for my money, I call on my God. I never they wonder, never worry. My baba, they my body. I never they holler for my money, I call on my God. Now people let me hear you say, waiting no be coco for my God. Be coco, be coco, be coco. No wahala be coco for my God. My people let me hear you say, waiting no be coco for my God. Be coco, be coco, be coco. No matter be coco for my God.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Shocky for my God. Azoto for my God. I go shokoto for my God. Shocky for my God, Azoto for my God, I go shokoto for my God. When I'm shopping, there's nothing I no go fee afford. See me rocking my Balenciaga for my God, and by His grace, there's no girlie I no go fee run. Be on the beat and I dedicate it to my God. Hey, I feel His goodness and His mercy. From New York to New Jersey. No matter what I want, I get it from my God. Oh. I feel His goodness and His mercy. Oh. From New York to New Jersey. No matter what I want, I get it from my God. Oh. My people, let me hear you say. My people, let me hear you say.
8:49 is the time. You're very welcome back to the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Okay, quick clarification. You know that amount, 75 million Ghana cedis, which was allocated to the Pualugu Dam project. Someone is pointing out that is just barely above 1% of the total cost of the project, which is $100 million. So 75 million Ghana cedis, that's less than $20 million. Less than $20 million. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I thought I just explained to you that the election year budgets normally are not the budgets for the entire fiscal year.
It's fine. No, we are not asking for an
but
explanation.
You're going on about it. An impression may be created.
We just want to give the mathematics, and we don't want to spend time on this. Just to clarify what the numbers are. Mr. Dafiamako, please
like
don't.
Election year budget not being for the entire fiscal year. In fact, the budget was read. They came for a media review, and indeed, 2 weeks to the elections. No, 2 weeks before we adjourned for the elections, they came for appropriation for, that is a 3 months post-election appropriation to the new year.
Yeah. So
you
it's
can't
the 2020 budget, not 2021. 2020 budget.
And all that is not meant for the whole fiscal year. Please.
Okay. So less than 2% of the cost was allocated in the year 2020. Just to clarify. All right, you can now get 50 gigabytes of data free whenever you buy a Surfline device at any Surfline shop or retail outlet today. Surfline is Ghana's premier 4G LTE network. It puts the whole world in your hands. This 50 gig offer gives you enough data to power your digital lifestyle for schoolwork, virtual team meetings, or your streaming services, as well as sharing fun moments with family and friends. Now, their bundle offering gives you the flexibility to choose between no expiry or never running out of data. So, whether it's internet for your whole family, your school, your office, yourself, Ghana's only true 4G network has got you covered with this 50 gig offer. Walk into any of their shops or retail outlets in Accra, Tema, and Takrady to buy a device and redeem 50 gig of internet instantly for free. Surfline, it's about time. Right, the Joy Business Minute is brought to you usually by Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with you, and the Joy Business Minute will resume, I believe, after the holidays. Paying taxes has never been this easy. You can pay your customs duty and all other GRA payments at any CBG branch nationwide. You can also dial *222# to pay your customs duty, GRA tax, Environmental Protection Agency levies, Ghana Standards Authority levies, Food and Drug Authority levies, and of course levies for all other government services. Just go to ghana.gov.gh to fill your forms and generate your invoice. For more details, call 0302 216 000. CBG, we stand with you. Now, Ghana, you inspire us. In the beginning, children in her community used to walk to school. Today, not only are her bamboo bikes making it easier for children, Bernice Dapa employs many women as well. Ghana, in APSA, this is Africanacity. Africanacity is their inspiration behind who they are and what they do. It's their commitment to helping people find a way to get things done. We love Africanacity. To find out more, go to absa.com.gh. Alrighty then. So we want to hear from the rest of our panelists on the issue of press freedom and safety, and then we're going to move on to our issues. NDC is going to court. We'll talk about that and matters arising from it. But first, let's wrap up on the issue of media safety and freedom. Rhoda.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on this earlier, but the point is that the media plays an important role in national development, and it's important that they get the necessary support, that they are able to do this without any threat of harm. And earlier we touched on the role of different actors, the media fraternity itself, the role of the security agencies as far as enforcement and investigation and prosecution of people carrying out such kinds of threats. But I also raised the issue of what government could do. And since we have the Deputy Minister of Information, and I think I want to raise the issue again that when some of these acts, unfortunate incidents come out, it's important that as a ministry that is the mouthpiece of government, as a ministry that directly engages the media a lot, they come out to openly condemn these acts so that at least there's that perception that government is not condoning all of these negative acts that we get to record within the media space. It's unfortunate, and I think we need to hear from them. But moving beyond them also, I think is the role of the judiciary and the process for seeking redress or justice. It's important that if some of these issues get to the court and there are speedy resolutions of these matters, I think it helps, because if you are an individual, if you're a journalist and you have to take on some of these fights yourself, or you want to seek justice, sometimes I think the tedious process is a bit daunting, and it requires a certain level of fortitude for you to pursue these actions through. And I think that's also some angle that we need to do a lot more in terms of speeding up the process of judicial redress or prosecution of these matters.
Thank you. Mr. Dafe Amekwa, I want to start with you on this, because, look, it's not new. Journalists have been attacked, beaten, threatened under successive governments. Even under this current government, we know that my colleague Parker Wilson got slapped at an NDC event by some, NDC activists. I don't know whether the party sanctioned those individuals. But one thing I do know is that we see many examples of politicians protecting those who unfortunately threaten or harm journalists. Or not just protecting them, but sometimes just doing nothing, and letting them get away with it. I don't know. Some people say the solution must come from the politicians. Others say it must come from the journalists. I don't know where you stand on this.
Kojo, my disappointment with your submission now is to mention that Parker got slapped at an NDC event and found nothing to attach the MPP with. and it's
I will be don't you worry. I will be asking Mr. Hajide his own questions.
And it is
this is for you.
For me. But I'll deal with the substance of your questions. But Kwejo made it so.
Oh,
now,
dear.
if you look at Article 162 of the Constitution and the sub provisions therein, clearly the independence of the media is guaranteed. Now, but you see that the guarantee of the independence of the media to operate is not in vacuum. It has to do so within certain environment. So that is what we speak of. It's not as if the media hasn't got the right to operate or the independence is being threatened. But what we speak of is that the conditions under which the media is working now appear in such a way that it's affecting their independence to be able to work effectively, to be able to discharge their constitutionally guaranteed duties. Yes, you've cited instances. But the other thing I see is that a lot of the media houses are also increasingly being aligned to the political parties. And that's also a worry. And that is where sometimes targeting comes in. So as much as possible, the media should do what we call non-aligned. It should be aligned, it should be neutral, so you can work and undertake your duties as enshrined in the Constitution. Now, if you find yourself aligned with the ideologies or the policies of a particular government, and tomorrow that government leaves power, you become a lame duck. So I will urge the media to prosecute the agenda, hold the leg of government to the fire without fear or favor. Those that for some reasons have suffered some form of violence, some form of attack, some form of threat. And no, that is a crime that should fall in the domain of our prosecutors to be able to deal with. If a crime is committed, a crime is committed. Let us look into it. If prima facie determinations are made, let prosecution be done. So for me, I think the environment that the media finds itself now is what worries me.
Because of the sort of the alignment.
Yes.
That's your main issue.
So the media no longer appears to be in control of what they put out. There are a lot of censorship. You are not permitted to say this, or they are afraid to say it. That's what I gather.
It's always been like that. Even
yeah,
in the
I was going to ask.
Even in the colonial era, if you check this, it's always been like that. Being aligned doesn't stop you from
murder and politics in colonial Ghana.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mr. Daffy, is it your submission that if a media house is aligned, then they are unable to carry out their constitutional duty? I mean, so for example, Radio Gold or XYZ,
effectively, how are you able to hold the fire of the feet of government to the fire? How are you able to, for instance, dissect PDS issues?
So why are politicians always interested in setting up radio stations if they know that the media they will not be able to execute the constitutional duties?
The business segment of the media to the media as we know it. So I love somebody who describes himself as a freelance journalist. All right.
All cannot be freelance.
I agree. I agree. But there are some media houses. Once you work from that media house, you are seen from a certain prism.
CNN,
you don't,
Fox News,
exactly.
They are aligned, aren't they?
Sorry?
CNN, Fox News, they are unashamedly aligned.
Yes, but that
are
is
they
on
unable
the
to do their job?
That is on the global scale. Joy FM, are you aligned? Multimedia, are you aligned? Are you aligned to the NPP?
We don't all have to be, but I'm saying that there is there something that stops a media house from doing its job just because they have
because you see, if you are aligned, the Constitution enjoins you to so that you are not censured. If I can quickly Article 162 clause.
So I mean, while you're looking that up, have you found it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Now 1622. Subject to this Constitution and any other law not inconsistent with this Constitution, there shall be no censorship in Ghana. No media censorship. Now, if you have a news editor who is so aligned, when you send your reporter to go to the field and gather some particular piece of news that you think is injurious to the political fortunes of your aligned government or party, you are going to censure that, and the Constitution frowns on it.
So you think this is the reason why people like Manasseh have been threatened, Abdul Mumin have been threatened, because of alignment?
No, not because of alignment, but because of their ability to publish certain information. Because I won't threaten you if what you publish is not injurious to my political health.
So they shouldn't have published those things?
No. The Constitution mandates them to do so.
So the problem is not alignment then, is it?
Sorry?
Then the problem is not alignment. People who are not aligned are being attacked.
Manasseh and Mumen are extraordinary people. They are extra. All right? I speak of the rest of some other journalists who operate from in-house, who are paid salaries, who practically don't earn from what they gather, but they earn monthly salaries. That is controlled from an administrative office, and you have a news editor that says that yes, you've gone to the field and gathered this information, but we cannot publish it. That's the kind of thing we speak of, and that's the kind of thing I think that worries you.
I'm also worried about the threats. I'm very worried about the threats.
I'm saying that
the threats are the main fulcrum.
Exactly. But I will not threaten you if what you put out is not injurious to me.
No, but I mean, I don't know, but
we'll lose focus.
We shouldn't lose focus, okay? This issue of alignment and who is not, who defines who is aligned and who isn't, because what I write, I may think is an objective assessment of something. Somebody might think otherwise, and I mean, for us in civil society, for instance, you get a lot. You say this today, somebody thinks you are this. So who defines who is politically aligned and not? I mean, not. But also interestingly that we're also getting this from our politicians, because we know that a number of politicians also operate politically aligned media platforms and all of that. So where lies the blame and all of this? But the bottom line is that whatever anybody chooses to do, we cannot encourage or we cannot accept the use of, threats against people for whatever they are doing. If anything at all, like he said, if somebody publishes something which doesn't sit well with you and there's an appropriate forum, which is, say, a court, for instance, for you to take the person on, why don't we use that instead of, say, threatening the person's life? And I think this is where we must try and focus the discussion on. Personally, this is what I think.
I have focused my discussion. I have made a point that where threats are issued, that's a crime. That needs to be investigated. Where journalists are killed for doing their work, that's a crime. That must be investigated and prosecuted. But I'm raising some other issue, and that is what I speak of. Censorship has become a key part of what journalists do today. Censorship in the sense that they gather information, they are not able to publish.
Self-censorship?
No. Sometimes institutional censorship. And I'm saying that
but not regulatory. So the institutions
exactly.
But not
if I say institutional, I mean organizational censorship. So if I will not threaten you if what you put out doesn't injure me. And I'm saying that people also have the right to write rejoinders to what is put out. But we don't do that. We prefer to threaten. We prefer to harass. We prefer to meet you in an alleyway and show you where power lies. We prefer to take your microphone from you and
smash
tell you
it to
never
the ground.
to return again. So we need to avoid some of these things.
Excellent.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes.
All right. I want to bring in Mr. Hajideh, I'll read you a quote, Mr. Hajideh. This is from Suleimana Brahma of the Media Foundation for West Africa. He said this on Newsfile on Saturday, and I quote, "At some point, it was almost becoming a crime within this administration to be seen to fight corruption." This is one of many things he said in his submission, talking about how the environment within which journalism ought to operate, he sees the oxygen being sucked out of that environment. These are my words, I'm paraphrasing him. But essentially, he sees a less enabling environment under the NPP for the fighting of corruption. He goes further to say that in the next 4 years, even though it's the same leader, we hope that things may change. This is your sector, Mr. Hajideh. I wonder what you think about these comments.
Well, I will come to my good brother and friend
Suleimana
Brahma later, and I will disagree sharply with him. The evidence on the ground does not support his claim, and I will explain to you why sometimes actors in civil society exaggerate to gain traction, and I'll come to that in a bit. And I think that Rhoda made a point that at the Ministry of Information we should be seen acting for and on behalf of journalists, because we, as a ministry, superintend the content space in this country. And I do agree with Rhoda, and I assure her that we have been doing a lot of speaking and a lot of work behind the scenes. For the first time in our country's history, work is far advanced on a coordinated national mechanism on the safety of journalists. Colleagues from your media establishment have sat in brainstorm sessions that have been facilitated by the Ministry of Information. Now that we believe that we have made enormous progress, we have handed that important piece of work to the National Media Commission. We are grateful for the partnership of international agencies such as the UNICEF and the UNESCO to help us to get a coordinated mechanism on the safety of journalists. We think this is important because, first of all, we are looking at the 3 P's to protect journalists. First of all, to prevent attacks on journalists, to protect journalists in instances that we are aware that there are attacks. And then the 3rd P is to prosecute people who perpetrate violence on journalists. So
was there difficulty in doing that before this mechanism was put in place? Was it difficult to prosecute
the brainstorm sessions have shown to us that there is a huge gap, and we want to plug those gaps. And the international best practice is that we have to have this coordinated mechanism that brings all the diverse actors around the table so that we can be able to act in real time. We can be able to verify and validate. Okay, we can have a big discussion about why, but indeed, all over the world, it has been established that there is a gap. And so there has to be some practical steps that have to be taken to close the gap. And in our view, it is a coordinated mechanism that will help fill that gap.
So these brainstorming sessions and this mechanism, for example, the Latif Idris's case.
Yes.
How will this help that case?
Well, like I said, the initial point is the 3 P, is to prevent. And so
that's
the police,
too late.
The
in
police
his case, that is too late.
Yes, I'm going through it again.
Okay.
And then to say protect. So in instances, for instance, where we are able to verify and validate that there is indeed a threat on the life of a journalist, there are practical steps. We may not want to discuss all of this, but it may even involve removal of the person from the area of danger. Okay? So these are some of the practical steps. And then as a cure against impunity, to ensure that when even the protection and then the preventing fails, and there is actually the violence on the journalist, to deal with the issue of impunity, you have to prosecute.
Okay, so that might apply to Latif.
So in the Latif case, if you refresh our memory on the details of the Latif case, if we were not able to prevent, we were not able to protect, then we have to prosecute.
He walked up to a police officer who was on duty at the police headquarters during a protest. I don't remember who was. I think this was when Koku Anyidoho was arrested. And he went to ask the police officer a question, and he got beaten up by that officer and his colleagues. To date, the police hasn't been able to identify who those officers were in order for them to be prosecuted.
Well, those are the issues that we are saying that we have to be able to track. And that's why there's a coordinated mechanism. And the National Media Commission is leading this. And you know that these matters are criminal matters. And so we have to ensure that the journalist is around the table with other stakeholders to ensure that we are able to track. And that is why the government is investing heavily in this matter. And that is why international organizations such as the UNESCO, in conformity with international best practices, and even in furtherance of the Sustainable Development Goals, is supporting us to be able to do that.
The police is the government, and all they have to do is identify these people so that they can be prosecuted. It's been 3 years now, and they haven't been able to identify them.
No, you're making a mistake of a simplistic. This is the government identified. This is a criminal prosecution. So you have to.
There is no prosecution.
I'm saying that
nobody has been identified.
You have to adduce evidence beyond reasonable doubts. I have instances where, and I'll give you an example. We had a case where a Daily Graphic reporter was allegedly assaulted in Kumasi. The management of Daily Graphic spoke to the journalist. They went to court. I'm sure you remember this case. They took the MD himself went all the way to Kumasi, only to be told, and the journalist was with him in the court, only to be told in court by the judge that the matter had been resolved at home, and that as far as it is concerned, it is a no case. It even led to the management getting angry and saying that, we have terminated your appointment. We had to come back to government to explain that, no, you don't terminate appointments like that, and so on. But I'm saying that in a criminal prosecution, you need a witness. You need to adduce evidence beyond reasonable doubt. And so if ourselves as journalists, we prefer that when even these matters happen, we negotiate ourselves out of it, then that creates a problem. I'm saying that.
Well, I get that, but none of that applies to Lateef's case. So how am I making a mistake?
But that's the point. I'm saying that you have to get the evidence to be able to prosecute in court. So that if we sit around the table,
the police don't seem interested in
the police say they can't identify their own men who were posted at a specific time to a specific place.
The challenge I have with the way the conversation is structured is that we are focusing on one specific issue.
I wanted to use it as an example to show the usefulness of this mechanism that you have. You say is far advanced. You see.
But these are questions that are better posed to the Ghana Police Service.
So the mechanism doesn't apply to such situations.
No, the mechanism does. Members of the mechanism will have to sit to interrogate this matter. Okay, the members of the mechanism, when we are done and it's functional, they will have to sit and discuss what ways can we deal with this matter. It's not for me sitting in your studio.
It will be another sort of body set up.
That is what it's a mechanism. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. I'm saying that it is the practice across board. Because in the first place, you are talking about the challenge in the identification of even a suspect. Okay, you don't have the power to investigate and prosecute. It's the police. Okay, the police is not doing their job according to you, but you haven't heard from the police's side. So that's your story you are telling.
The police's side is that they can't identify them.
Yeah, but so that's their side. But
that's what I said.
So the idea, my understanding of how the mechanism works is that this is a platform to interrogate that claim further. That no, if there are gaps, these are ways to close those gaps. But I'm saying to you that for a government that admits that there's a challenge and is taking the steps to be able to resolve those challenges, one cannot say, as has been said by somebody you referred to, that the space is being constricted. That cannot be factually correct. Number two, we all know that under his leadership, then as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the criminal libel and seditious laws, which was used to torment journalists in this country, was repealed. Again, under his watch, now as president, the right to information law has been passed. The right to information law, even though it applies generally, is of extreme importance to journalists. And so the facts on the ground, coupled with the fact that we are talking about this mechanism that I just spoke to you about, the fact cannot be that it is now as a matter of government policy that the work of the journalist is being made more difficult. If you ask me, the work of the journalist has been made even much more easier, more competition and all that.
Right. If you don't mind, I'll give you the opportunity to explain the ways if you don't mind, I'll give you the opportunity to explain the ways in which the work of a journalist is easier now.
So you have boxed me down on one area. I haven't made even myself.
Forgive me. Don't worry. Because I will give you the opportunity to explain that. But we do have to take a few messages from our partners. This is the Super Morning Show. When we come back, more from Pius Hajide, more from Roxanne Nelson Dafiamako, more from Martin Kwebu, and definitely more from Rhoda of Kodeo. That is all to come. Stay with us.
Charlie, this one, your dear. We're going to make every moment special. Whether it's
I see you, Kipo.
There's more than enough drama series to bond over. There is something to keep you.
What are we doing today, man?
Endlessly entertained. You won't miss the action between.
Nobody will be better. Ronaldo or Messi.
We're not going to rescue you from Auntie's questions. So
you said when you dey marry now.
That will give you ideas. Choose DSTV this holiday season and make it your moment for only 45 Ghana cedis per month. DSTV, it's your moment.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs: your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glycolife, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Charlie, so it's actually raining and we can't hear any sound. As for this, your house, when it's raining, no sound. When the sun is up, the interior is cool. What roof are you using?
They use Ico roofing shingles from Interface Limited. Long lasting and beautiful.
Ico roofing shingles. We all for move to Interface and get this Ico roofing shingles.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274 999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook Interface Limited GH. Instagram Interface.limited.
As always, Christmas starts at the tree. Time for family, community, and celebration. Look out for the Spar Tree, where you'll find up to 40% discount on several products like 2 kg Spar rice, parboiled at 11.99 Ghana cedis, 5 kg Lily rice at 49.99 Ghana cedis, 1 liter fried or cooking oil at 10.99 Ghana cedis. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Spar, the best Christmas starts at the tree.
Misika and Sukatia Robert. And also answer estate 9. Now so empowerment. Timothy, number 20 me Katia, me tell such. I do cream so bad idea. I'm not easy cry. 3 city pack. 3 city so dear Kwame. It will be semi share I do creamy gummy tea and I'm a cocoa. Jai. Yeah! I take down crown father.
Book store. I do creamy for fry. The light blue was in saying what air such she. Ed, Nani Bosso da fem. FD, I should say, if I didn't crack to him, I just say.
Same great bang. Because the greatest things are born from the smallest of thoughts. Just as your seeds in a rich soil grow to become trees that bear fruits, the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, helps you sow, invest, nurture, and grow your personal and business plans by serving you with years of banking ingenuity and experience in agribusiness, corporate and commercial banking, consumer finance, e-banking, and many more through our network branches across the country. Whatever the culture, whatever the dream, we grow with you. Call us today on 0302-210-210 or visit www.agricbank.com. ADB, truly agric and more.
Maswa obido bana kumani ni kresi mi triso. Mi mo biara mbetiti entemu de bi de nyame ni so do ye we oh I never them jealous me yeah. Cause she love me alone and you don't want to do I see yeah. Me so me pe Sarah only you are the see yeah. Me no see no other girl all them one way I rush in me yeah. Ba 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 bam bam bang bang. Also brought chef on sabe o many. To the eye. Also brought chef on sabe o many. Also brought chef on sabe o many.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Say me who and ya she me who mama. Say me who and ya she cra cra. Say me who and ya she yeah. A drop. Stampede bomborobo. Bedim, Simburubu, Pimpidim, Burukutum, oh, I wanna make you know, say you be special or that you know be wholesale.
You're welcome back. It's 9:23 and our guests are helping us navigate the choppy waters of some very interesting conversations, including press freedom and safety. And we're about to talk about NDC getting ready for an election petition. And we'll talk about that and more shortly. Right, 2020 has been quite a year, so let's end it on a high note. Roverman Productions, in partnership with Joy FM and the National Theatre, presents the Roverman Festival of Plays. You can get, there were 5 of these plays. That right now, there are 3 of them that you can take advantage of. On the 1st of January, Women on Fire. On the 2nd of January, Terms of Divorce. And on the 3rd, Bananas and Groundnuts. At the National Theatre from 4 p.m. and then again from 8 p.m. each night. 300 Ghana cedis was the original cost, but right now 80 Ghana cedis will get you into each of these plays. All right, now tickets are available at Joy FM, Shell Shops at Airport, East Legon, Achimota and Tema, Committee 11, Bachana and Hacho Totals, Motorway Supermarket, Frankie's at Osu, and Say Cheers at the Accra Mall. Reward yourself and your colleagues and hardworking staff and stakeholders with tickets to the Roverman Festival of Plays. All the COVID protection protocols will be enforced. You want to know more? Call 050-554-6010 or WhatsApp 050-554-6030 or send an email to tickets@rovermanproductions.com. The sponsors are Toyota Ghana Limited, Dauphin Finance, Total Family Health Organization and Cheesy Pizza. Media partners are Joy FM, Adum FM, Hits FM, Joy News TV, Joy Prime, Adum TV, myjoyonline.com, adumonline.com, Gold Street Business, Daily Guide, and Logistics Movers. Roverman Productions, be the difference. So, the electrical wiring law requires electricians in Ghana to be certified by Energy Commission before they can conduct electrical wiring of residential, commercial, and industrial facilities. It is illegal to engage the services of an electrician who is not certified by the Energy Commission. Now, how to get your building facility ready for electricity connection? 1. Get a certified electrician to do your electrical wiring and collect a duly completed, signed and stamped installation completion certificate from him after the wiring is done. Submit that installation completion certificate along with other relevant documents to ECG or NEDCO for service connection. If you want to find a certified electrician, download the Certified Electrician mobile app on the Apple Store or go to energycom.gov.gh and access the Certified Electrician database. Demand an ID from anybody who claims to be an electrician in your community. Reach the Commission on 0302 813 756. This public sensitization is funded by the UK government's Department for International Development, DFID, and coordinated by the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Thank you. Now, due to hard times, we have become value hunters. But are we hunting for value the right way? Remember, your engine is more valuable than just cheap fuel. Be smart. Hunt for holistic value. Holistic value is when you have quality fuel at the right quantity and at a fair price. At Petrosol, they will serve you clean fuel in full quantity at a fair price, and that is holistic value. So, go visit them today. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity. All right, let's get back to our conversation in the studio and our guests, of course, Roxanne, Pius, Martin, and Rhoda. Now, we're going to come back to Pius to complete that point. Just before you do that, I'm going to read you a text message that a journalist sent to me while you were making your submission earlier. He said, "What is Hajide saying? What is coordinating mechanism? As a journalist, I just want whoever is in power to stop the abuse on journalists. Police must investigate threats on journalists. Simpliciter. Coordinated mechanism looks too coordinated and makes no sense to me. Too much English. Let Pius know that journalism under this regime is becoming extremely difficult. In fact, I'm not sure there is a comparator. We feel constrained under this regime than any other regime under constitutional rule, and they must be humble to take the feedback and work on it. Telling me I am free because you have repealed criminal libel law when I am telling you I am being threatened doesn't make sense. The fact that threats on the lives of journalists is an issue worthy of a sustained conversation on the Super Morning Show is a clear testimony of how well this regime is doing. We are free. That is why journalists are leaving the country for fear of attacks. Pardon?
I thought you were going to share with us who the texter was.
The journalist?
Yeah.
I won't do that for fear of attacks.
No. I think that we are exaggerating. But again, I would disagree. No, let me finish. If you may, first of all, I think that notion about the freedom of the media being under attack is erroneous. It's not happening anywhere. It's a figment of the.
Would you like to say that to Manasseh?
In imagination
to Abdul Hayy Mumen?
I'm saying to
the family of Ahmed Swale?
I'm saying that. You see, that's what I was going to come to. But before I come to that one, this theory of alignment, I beg to differ. I think that what worries me may be what some people call mercenary journalism. If that's what we are discussing, that can be a problem. Because it is clear, there's the literature that safety and responsibility are two sides of the same coin. And so as we speak about the safety of journalists, we at the same point are talking about responsible journalism. And so if we are talking about mercenary journalism and sometimes even opinion journalism, we can talk about those.
Are you saying that opinion journalism warrants attacks?
The problem is that,
are you saying that opinion... sorry, Mr. Pugu, I'll give you a moment in just a second. But I just want to ask you, are you saying that opinion journalism warrants attacks?
It's not me saying. This literature is confirmed. This literature is researched that safety and responsibility are the two sides of one coin. And Honorable Dafem Ekpo made a point earlier, which may be lost on us.
Responsible journalism?
But I'm say again.
So opinion journalism is not responsible journalism.
Well, I don't know what opinion journalism cannot be opinion, as far as reporting the facts are concerned. You are not, as a journalist, you are not under obligation to report your opinion.
Reporting
you are
one
reporting the facts.
method of journalism.
If you want to do an analysis, those are your opinion. So as a journalist,
job.
Say again.
Analysis is also a part of a journalist's job.
That is analysis. But reportage, opinion report, if you're doing opinion journalism, it's a concept on its own, which is a deviation from the reportage of facts. When you superimpose your opinions and you want to push them as the facts, then that becomes a problem.
Is an opinion.
Say again?
An editorial is an opinion.
Yes.
So but when the Daily Graphic writes an editorial, should they be attacked for it?
You have to understand the concept. An editorial is an editorial. The disclaimer is issued that this is the opinion of the writer. It's an editorial. It's not opinion journalism. But the concept of opinion journalism, as is disguised, it's not me, it's not my theory, is that increasingly, all over the world, not just in Ghana, and I'm using the terminology as a global concept, mercenary journalism, opinion journalism, where instead of reporting the facts, journalists tend to report their interpretation of the facts. That is opinion journalism. I'm saying that if those are some of the challenges that people have, then we have to be wary about them, so that in our operations as journalists, we also are guided. That the research is showing that when people feel less or more and more dissatisfied with our work, not only do they lose trust in us, they may want to resort to other unorthodox means, and those means may be criminal and they deserve to be punished. But we need to also concede that the literature, the research shows that in countries where people feel that journalists are becoming more and more irresponsible, attacks are on the rise. It may not apply in our situation here in Ghana, but it is a learning that we must all have.
So can we stick to our situation here in Ghana? What applies here? Is it that more and more people are unhappy with opinion journalism under this regime?
Well, I'm not
what you're saying.
My position is that the media is freer today than they have ever been in our country's history. The media is freer today.
I'll take very, very quick
the media is freer today.
From the rest of the panel.
Somebody spoke about attacks and deaths. And I'm saying that we should be circumspect, we should validate, we should verify. You recall that a lady was murdered, a lady journalist was murdered in Kumasi. First of all, the headlines were that a journalist has been killed in Kumasi. investigations later proved that the death, unfortunate as it may have been, was not related to her work as a media person. It was the work of the boyfriend. Again, you remember the former GJA president of Ashanti region, Eni. He was also shot during the time of the NDC. It was reported that a media man had been killed in Kumasi. Investigations later proved that the unfortunate death was not related to his work as a journalist.
But what has this got to do with the
point I'm making is that
Ahmed
we have to. But again, how are we able to tell?
Two journalists who
Kojo, that you are not taking time to listen, and the point is getting lost on you. I'm saying to you that we have to verify and validate. We have to verify and validate. When that lady I speak of died, if we had not done proper validation and verification, would have been quoting it at the statistics that a journalist has been killed. And it would have meant that there's a problem on the practice of journalism. So let's not just look at accidents or unfortunate incidences involving persons who may be practicing journalism just as a statistics to move that to mean that this is what the situation is. Right. Are you getting the point I'm making? Okay. So even with my dear brother Ahmed Swale, that is why we are putting pressure on the police to investigate this matter so that we can get to the root causes, so that we don't get carried away just because it is this or that, and then we are forced to make maybe sometimes some conclusions that may not be founded. That's the point I'm making. So we must be careful in discussing. We must be careful in discussing these matters.
Yes, we must, but we must also state the facts. For example, in the case of Ahmed Swale, part of the reason why we are all interested in the investigation into his death is because a threat was made to his life. Threats were made to his life by a sitting MP, by the way. All right, so let's be clear that there is a reason why we are interested in that. We're not jumping to hasty conclusions.
I agree with you. Yes. That makes sense. Makes sense, and it's a fair point to make.
Yeah.
But I think that you also get my point about generalizing everything and putting everything in a box and just sticking it at a statistics.
You have made your point. All right, I'm going to get very, very quick responses from everyone else, and then we'll move on to the court issue. Mr. Daffy Amepo, if you don't mind.
Yes. Quickly, if I may refer to Article 1624, and it says that editors and publishers of newspapers and other institutions of the mass media shall not be subject to control or interference by government, nor shall they be penalized or harassed for their editorial opinions and views or the content of their publications. Now, the issues we are discussing is because of the information some of these journalists put out that is attracting hatred or threats against their life. Now, Kojo, one other thing that I think we should look at is the deliberate policy by government to stifle the operation of journalism in Ghana. How? If, for instance, the Constitution says that even issues of license shouldn't be an impediment to the operation of journalism in Ghana, and yet we are using issues of license to clamp down on operations of media houses.
No. You are misreading the law.
I am not misreading.
You are misreading the law.
No, listen.
But
I am not misreading.
But that's a regulatory issue, and the regulations are clear.
Exactly.
So if you violate
authorizations are not licenses.
Would you let me
finish?
You're
misreading the law.
No.
I'm saying that Kojo, frequency authorizations are not licenses.
If you don't mind, if you allow me to,
the Constitution says issues of licenses.
Yeah, but frequency authorization is not license.
Why,
Mr. Hajide, please allow Mr. Daffy Amepo to land.
So the Constitution says don't use this as an impediment. So if there are license issues, regularize it.
No.
So
what are you saying?
So, Mr. Daffy Amepo, are you saying?
I'm saying that frequency authorization is not a license.
Mr. Hajide, please allow. Mr. Hajide, please allow me to moderate. Please allow me to moderate. Mr. Daffy Amepo, if you don't mind, are you saying that radio stations cannot be shut down by regulators under any circumstances if it has to do
from reading the Constitution says if there are irregularities, that is why they call it irregularities. You regularize.
You cannot shut them down.
You can penalize, but don't use it as a bar to prevent them from working. That's what the Constitution
So the Constitution says that you cannot shut them down.
Constitution says, listen, it says, that should be 3. There shall be no impediment to the establishment of private press or media, and in particular, there shall be no law requiring any person to obtain a license as a prerequisite to the establishment or operations of a newspaper, journal, or other media for mass communication or information.
Absolutely.
License. So I am
license.
Hajide, I was quiet. So I am saying my
Please
interpretation
let's allow
of
Mr.
this is
Daffy
that if there are irregularities, you regularize. You can when you go to bank to go and borrow money, hold on.
If there cannot be a license, how can there be an irregularity about something that
allow Mr. Daffy?
You cannot put nothing on.
Mr. Hajide, I'm going to ask you one more time to please allow Mr. Daffy to make his point. And Mr. Kwebu, you are next, so please, if you don't mind.
Could you interrogate this properly?
Listen, I am placing my argument on the Constitution.
Can we have a gentleman's discussion? I just want to understand something. You are reading from a law that says that there is no need for a license. So what regulation are you talking about?
The law didn't say so.
Read it again. Read the law. Read it again. Read it.
Listen.
Read it.
Listen. It says that there shall be no impediment.
Go on.
To the establishment of private press or media. And in particular, there shall be no law requiring any person to obtain a license.
Absolutely.
Hold on.
So what are you asking to be regularized? That's why I'm telling you that frequency authorization is not license.
Mr.
Hajide,
if you are using the license as an impediment, I am not saying don't grant licenses.
So then,
but the Constitution
the Parliament. So then you are indicting yourself.
Impediment.
We have an act of Parliament. We have an act of Parliament passed by you. I'm not in Parliament. You passed a law. You passed a law that gave regulatory authority
to the extent of the
so you know what to do.
You are using it as an impediment. That's my point.
No.
You are using the license,
Mr. Kwebu, if you don't mind, you are going to have to be the neutral party on this.
He wouldn't let me finish.
So I would love to hear your view on this particular point, please.
Yes, my point is simple. In few words, I would go with Roxanne Nelson Daffy-Amepo. Look, once the Constitution doesn't envisage licensing, don't use any other back channel route. What? Okay. As an impediment. So the Radio Gold matter where the failure to renew the licenses, was used to terminate their license. It's totally bad.
No, people are wrong. License was not terminated.
You are going to have to allow Mr. Kwebu to make the point. Please, you are going to have to allow him. Can we have only Mr. Kwebu's microphone on, please?
It tells you that in practice is basically the same. The frequency. No. Listen, Kojo, today you are operating on 99.7, right? Yes, that's your frequency allocation. Okay,
but that's
so
not license.
Yes, that's not it. But that's what we're using that spectrum as radio. Correct. Do they still have it as radio?
No.
So that is why we are talking.
Yes. That is not. But
Mr. Kwebu, his microphone is off.
Yes.
So just speak to me.
Okay. So Pius, look, let's make this big English. Let's make it simple. The ordinary man wants to know: is Radio Gold still operating 90.5? No, that's a simple thing. So whether you call it spectrum or you call it license, it's one and the same. What we are trying to say in simple English is that Radio Gold is no longer operating 90.5
so can
FM.
they now move to 99.7?
No,
jump to 99.
Mr. Kwebu, please continue. Please continue, Mr. Kwebu.
But the Constitution envisages that don't use minor issues, to prevent, to serve as an impediment.
You are inviting us.
So do you see that? No, come on, that's not it. Even if you read the ruling of Datiban, he said, look, once they have not, they didn't pay up and the thing is expired, don't ask for that money. Don't ask for it. They are not supposed to pay a penalty because the license, you don't want the word license. Let's say that had expired. And this authorization, I'm saying that in practice, it operates as a license. Look, if we are speaking, let's speak ordinary English, let's all understand. Don't hide by using the word authorization when what if in effect it does is to serve as a license. Yes, empower you to work. That's it. So look, I think it's not yet late. The NCA can set up. Look, we all make mistakes. We realize that we do, and then you just eat humble pie. Restore the license. Let them take it. Okay.
Rhoda, do you want the last word on this?
Yes.
Rhoda, would you like the last word on
that's
this?
That's not illegal. They will just be doing their constitutional duty of
let's hear Rhoda. Let's hear Rhoda's last word on this,
I think
please.
I still want to dwell on the issue of the threats. Earlier, we raised the issue of what the media or journalists do or don't do, which probably can invite threats and all of that. I mean, we must all encourage journalists to be professional and to be abiding by ethical standards. But at the same time, we cannot accept the use of violence. If at any point in time, anybody publishes anything that is, say, for instance, sends false information or causes fear and panic, there's always a mechanism in law that law enforcement agencies can pursue against those journalists, or even at the individual level, they publish something that is false or misleading or something. We can always disagree or find a way of taking on those journalists, which is the point I made earlier. But we must give that clear indication to all citizens in this country that violence is something that we cannot tolerate. We have to find more civilized ways of engaging each other. This is a democracy, and this is how we must learn to engage each other. I think this is where I would actually leave it.
Thank you for that. All right, NDC is going to court. Not just for the presidential, an election petition is in the offing, but also on Techiman South. Let's talk about it when we come back. Kodeo observed this election. We would love to know what they think about what went down in Techiman South. Martin Kpebu is here. We also have the NDC and MPP. So, fascinating stuff after these.
Welcome to Part Ever Limited, home of quality furniture for your households and offices. Walk in for your bedroom set, dining set, living room sofa, center and coffee tables, plus your TV stands. For your office, we have executive desk, writing desk, conference tables, metal filing cabinets, fireproof safes, workstations, swivel chairs, executive economic visitors chairs, benches, office sofas, and reception counters. Locate Part Ever Limited at Asylum Down Roundabout on Dokukuseku Street. Contact us on 0302 220347, 0244 367048, or 0244 533 153. Email us at partever2000@gmail.com or visit our website at www.parteverlimited.com. Part Ever Limited, home of quality and durable furniture.
You do not wake up sounding like this. So why allow your car to sound like this? How a man treats a car is how he treats himself, and that says a lot. A noisy engine is your car communicating with you. So treat your engine with all the love and care it deserves. Listen to it. Keep it strong and healthy with Petrosol Platinum Engine Oil. Petrosol Platinum is specially formulated to efficiently lubricate, clean, and protect your engine to ensure optimum performance at all times. And oh, you love the silence. Now hop in and enjoy absolute peace of mind. Petrosol Platinum. Thick and thin. You go, sir.
Bronya wo fie, bronya wo ha, bronya wo baby ara.
Afisha po nianum. This Christmas go make sweet rough. If it's a Go TV, your bronya papa fie.
Bronya papa fie pa. Make you enjoy quality family time, watching all the best shows this festive season.
Get the best in La Liga, Serie A, and EPL on Super Sport and other leagues on ESPN. Where the bronya dead deal.
Dead one kasa. Zero and Rock GH brings us lots of drama and suspense. Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney Junior brings all the best in kiddie entertainment.
This be the time to get your Go TV decoder. Go tenor with 1 month plus subscription. All the best in one place. It be 109 Ghana cedis per. Use my Go TV app no connect to a Go TV so. And now pay by the agent to be in your area for any GM Rosso. T&C Supply. Go TV. Love it. Jack, if nobody will give you anything this Christmas, Samsung dare your back. Hey, deal penny. Every Samsung shop you enter, whether you are in the north or in the south, we are giving you free free gift with every Samsung device you buy. Tina Hoji and Kasa. Buy any Samsung mobile phone. That one alone be too much flex. Then in addition, you will get gifts ranging from free screen repair vouchers, wireless chargers, battery packs, phone covers, screen protectors, t-shirts, and many, many more. Papa, bring yourself the trust. Come on, it's like Samsung they sponsored the bringer this year. You know they see, make you know slack cry. Terms and conditions apply.
Misika enso katia roba. And also enso estate 9. Now so empare me. Temetwa tea, temetwa ni zuo. Me twati ya me twa so chin. I do cream so be dai die. Amana easy cry. 3CD pay. 3CD so dia kwa me. It will be se me share I do cream kumi tea ana me kokomu a. Jai. Yeah! Estate down crown father.
Book store. Hwehwe ideal creamy for fry the light blue asense wa eso chi. Ede na ne bo so da fem. FD ahwehwe sa etwati nkrato yi mu agya to say.
The season of celebration is upon us. Stay safe while linking up with family and friends by following the COVID-19 safety protocols. Remember to mask up, wash your hands, and observe social distancing. Let's celebrate responsibly this festive season.
Accidents do happen. It could be a motor accident, a sudden heart attack, or even a stroke, or any other health emergency. The first steps you take are very critical. Should you be involved in or witness an accident, call 112 for the fastest ambulance response. With over 300 well-equipped ambulances all over Ghana, you are assured of the fastest response to your emergency calls. Call 112 during critical health emergencies and save your life and that of your family and loved ones. 112, help will come. 112, we are safe. Avoid prank calls as they can lead to loss of life of persons in actual need of help. Be a responsible citizen.
Mr. J, baby. You will you not go, my people. Yeah, but that room, Timunyaso. You will you not go, my people. Yeah, but that room, Timunyaso. Hey, Etiachia Munina, Evikasia Babre Munina. Hey, Etiachia Munina, Evikasia Babre Munina. La 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 la. Yes, me and Baku Fibum. La 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 la. So a piece of fake Kawan.
Oh my this year, Michiamo, Execution FM, Namasuguso. No
love this tune. It breaks my heart to talk through it. Kasebo, Obrafo, and Guru. Maybe we'll play it when we end the show. But right now, though, do you send or receive money to and from other African countries? Then UBA Africash is for you. Send and receive money across the African continent easily and fast through UBA Africash. By using Africash, your remittance is received in real time. Africash is a secure remittance service that helps to quickly send and receive funds at any location where UBA or any of its partner agencies are present in Africa. So you don't have to be an account holder of UBA to use the service. Just walk into any branch or partner agent with a valid ID. That's an international passport, national ID, driver's license, voter's ID to send or receive money. If you want to know more, call the 24/7 Customer Fulfillment Center on toll-free number 0800 833 833. That works for Vodafone and Airtel Tigo. Or you could try 0302 634 060. Africash, fast and secure means of transferring money across Africa. UBA, Africa's global bank. So they come in different shapes and names. You've seen the rest, but of course the best is at Kingdom Books and Stationery. I'm talking about the temperature gun that has precise non-contact measurement, automatic data hold and auto power off, backlight LCD display, and you can set an alarm value, among other things. You can buy in bulk by calling 050-140-1050 or just go to any of their shops across the country or their head office, which is at Osu Akweje. Now, if you're yet to activate your MTN Momo account, Please do it now. Just dial *170# for MTN Momo. Select your 4-digit PIN number. Re-enter the PIN number to confirm, and then you'll receive a message which will confirm your activation. Now, if that message doesn't come, just contact any of their digital channels or use the My MTN app for further assistance. You should also know that you can link your bank account to your Momo wallet to make life even more easy. MTN Momo is your fastest, most secure, and most convenient way to transact business today. Terms and conditions apply. Just Momo it everywhere you go. We there for you everywhere you go. And finally, your COVID-19 tips for today: avoid touching your face. You can't get the virus on your hands from touching surfaces like doorknobs and laptops and so forth. Also, avoid touching your mouth, your nose, your eyes, or biting your fingernails to prevent the virus from getting into your body. Don't shake hands or hug people for now, and do not share personal items. Cover your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze. And those are your COVID-19 tips for today. All right, it's about 7 minutes to 10, and we're very quickly going to wrap up our conversation, but we're going to court to find out what's happening with the NDC's election petition. I will start with Mr. Dafia Mekbo. The NDC is going to court election petition to the Supreme Court, and then we're talking about Techiman South and Hohoe. Are we going to court with that as well? Yes?
We'll go to court. We are ready to file in respect of the presidential petition at enshrined in Article 64. Tomorrow will be the last day of reckoning within the statutory 21 days.
Right.
So that will be done.
Okay.
And we are also filing in respect of Techiman South. Basically, it will be a rehash of the content of our petition to the minority sent to the Electoral Commission sometime 2 weeks ago.
Right.
We are essentially saying that, contrary to Regulation 43 and sub-regulations therein, the EC failed to comply with the statutory provisions, and for purposes of declaring the constituency collated results. And so on that note, they should be directed by the court to go back and comply with that and do the proper thing.
Right. Why'd you leave it so late?
You know, I'm a practitioner, and I'm happy Martin is here. You just don't get up and go to court. You have to put your house in order before you go to court. Otherwise, the court will throw you out.
So your house was not in order?
No, if you say my house was not in order, the Electoral Commission didn't give us the opportunity until they declared. And when they declared, they came back to change figures after about 6 times. The figures kept changing. So what do you rely
yours on Techiman South?
No, hold on.
5 different figures from
Hold
NDC.
on. Techiman South, as we speak, we can't get all the pink sheets. All of them.
So how do you know that you've won?
You understand my point? So when we ask them to do the collation, they themselves cannot provide it, because pink sheets are official documents. They are not generated by the parties.
So how do you know that you won if you don't have all the pink sheets?
We have results collated by our agents
that are not on pink sheets.
In respect of about 3 or 4 polling stations. If I say not all, I speak of pink sheet in respect of our 3 or 4 polling stations. So we must compel the EC to do the official thing, to do the property in accordance with law. Now, in respect of Hohoe, some parties are already in court in respect of the issues that the reliefs that they placed before the court, and so we are properly aligned with what they are doing, and we await the outcome.
All right.
We also have intentions of contesting the Seshuyosu one, as well as Takwan Swaim. And so that too, I'm sure by close of day today,
right,
we should have a firm view of which ones we are actually contesting in court, in addition to the presidential results declared.
Right. Okay. Mr. Ajide, the NPP says that this is in order. this is what what NDC is doing is in order. But you remember that the NPP was accused of obstructing the operation of government when they had an election petition in the Supreme Court a few years ago. President Akufo-Addo, then candidate Akufo-Addo. Are you anticipating that there might be some obstruction to the work of government as a result of this election petition?
No, we do not see any obstruction. We are focused. As we speak, the transition team is working. Fortunately, I work with the transition team as well. We are planning a COVID-compliant inauguration within the precincts of Parliament on the 7th. We remain focused. We are not distracted by the fishing that our colleagues in the NDC are engaged in. It's a fishing expedition. He just said to you that they have now put their house in order. So you can't go to court without putting your house in order. Clearly, you can go on a demonstration without putting your house in order. And so all this was much ado about nothing, because they didn't even have the legs to stand on at the time.
Well, to demonstrate, it's part of the right we have to exhibit our protestations.
I thought we thought that
putting your house in order, putting your house in order, it's a phraseology in English.
Yeah, but if you didn't have a case,
the fact that I am collating these are matters of statistics.
Yeah, but I think we should allow Mr. Hajide to make his point.
But do you get the 38,000 over 38,000 police station figures on the 9th of the 9th?
Please rescue me.
So let me very quickly ask you this: is the NPP concerned? I mean, the NDC has already won one case in court. Okay, are you concerned that if any of these other cases are won by the NDC, it could upset the apple cart, especially in Parliament?
No, we are not upset. We are not worried about anything. We are going to allow the laws of this country to apply, and that's what it is. Okay, but let's do just the right thing. We've
got 10 seconds to go on the show. I want to thank you all so much for your time. I wish we could have heard from Mr. Kpebu and Rhoda as well. I have to apologize for that, but thank you all for your time and your contributions. This has been the Super Morning Show.
It's my pleasure to have me here.
Indeed.
They gave you time to make a note.
And Gifty and Apia has the headlines at 10. Gifty.
Thank you, Kojo. Joy headline news at 10. I am Gifty Ando Apia. In this edition, legal practitioner Martin Kpebu is backing calls for the security agencies to get to the bottom of the